Hey everybody, good morning, it's JPR, and I just got back from Pokémon Worlds 2025, where I had the awesome opportunity to be one of the first people in the world to play Pokémon Legends ZA. So in this video, I'll be sharing some of the footage that I managed to record, along with some of my thoughts on the game. Although, please take everything you're about to see and hear with a tiny grain of salt. After all, this is still a demo build, and could be very different from the final product. We haven't gotten a demo for a Pokemon game since Sun and Moon or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I believe, and those demos were very different with their own missions that were absent from the final game. But I still think this video will give you some good info about the mechanics of ZA. Also, I've tried to edit this footage to make it look more zoomed in. Unfortunately, the Nintendo employees on site mandated that all footage must be taken from behind the shoulder, so I apologize for any awkward angles. In the first part of the demo, they have you competing in the ZA Royale, where you have to defeat 3 trainers in order to gain points and obtain a rank-up ticket. It definitely gives you a pretty good feeling for how unique this game's battle system will be. My friend and I took turns recording this part, so no, unfortunately I have not turned into a black guy here, but that would have made for pretty good content. Anyway, we both thought that the real-time combat to this game felt very similar to the combat styles found in the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise, where moves charge up over time as you position your Pokemon in order for their moves to deal more damage. In particular, I felt like it was a cross between Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 3's combat systems, but definitely still had a bit of its own flavor. It's by no means a one-to-one recreation. In particular, you have to control your trainer's movements and your Pokemon's moves separately, it seems. By pressing the ZL button, you lock into your opponent's Pokemon, and that brings up the interface that allows you to use your Pokemon's moves. When you release ZL, you have full control over your player character, and you can use their movements to get your Pokemon into the proper positioning for attacks. It's a little tricky because you never fully control your Pokemon's movements. It's more like they just slowly gravitate in your trainer's direction on their own. But I do get the vibe that positioning is going to play a huge role in some of this game's tougher battles, especially the Rogue Mega Evolution fights. But we'll come back to that in a second. Switching Pokemon also feels so satisfying in this game. You use the left and right D-pad controls to select a Pokemon, and then press up on the D-pad to instantly switch that Pokemon into battle. There is no menu for switching Pokemon, so there's literally never any break in the action, and it's awesome. On that note, the biggest improvement in this game from Legends Arceus is definitely the control scheme. As much as I love Arceus, the controls in that game were incredibly unintuitive and clunky even after dozens of hours of gameplay. Here, B is run, the left stick is crouch, D-pad is Pokemon, and Y is dodge roll. Just as God intended it to be. Having never played this game before, the controls were already so much better than they were on PLA. In this part, you also learn a little bit about sneaking up on trainers and ambushing their Pokemon, which was surprisingly tough in some areas where obstacles block your path. It also seems like breakable objects return from Legends Arceus in the battle zones, although the Nintendo employees advised me not to break anything, so I cannot fully confirm this. But if they're telling me not to, then I guess that basically confirms it. And after you defeat these 3 trainers, there was an optional boss trainer with a level 18 Pidgeotto who pretty much wiped out everybody, including myself. In fact, the employees on site actually treated you losing the fight as the end of part 1. So I'm not sure if every battle zone is going to have a super boss, kinda like Sun and Moon's Route Kahuna's, or if it was just a scripted loss purely to serve as an ending point of the demo. Regardless, I actually got to explore a little more before the employee pulled the cord on me. I walked around the ZA hotel for a bit, where AZ appeared to be the only NPC I could talk to. The hotel seems to have dorms for all of your MZ crewmates and a rooftop that I also explored a tiny bit before a Nintendo employee saw me and told me to stop. Alas, I did not find anything interesting on the rooftop during my brief 4 seconds up there. From there, we were guided to part 2 of the demo, which involved a small Zygarde 10% form chase and a rogue Mega Absol fight. And this was absolutely the most thrilling part of the demo. Unfortunately, the Nintendo employees would not let me record all of it though, just bits and pieces. While chasing Zygarde, I was able to use my Pokemon to destroy small crystal structures around the city and obtain Mega Shards, which the employees told me would make my Mega Evolution attacks more powerful during rogue battles. I'm willing to bet that this will have something to do with the plot and why Zygarde is in Lumiose City, because these crystal growths look very unnatural and are poking out of the ground in various buildings. Maybe Lumiose City is quite literally overflowing with Mega Evolution energy after all the renovations have been done, and Zygarde is there to stop it. That's my best guess. After you chase down Zygarde, you see this brief cutscene where we're introduced to Emma, who appears to be the one who's investigating Zygarde's presence in Lumiose City. And I gotta say, the animations in this cutscene are pretty clean, or at least more than I expect from Pokemon. I've seen some people on Twitter roasting this cutscene for still looking worse than a lot of other Switch games, but hey, since most Pokemon cutscenes tend to be thing happens, cut to black because we don't actually want to spend time animating it, cut back, this was a surprising improvement. We actually see Zygarde physically pick up his legs, turn around, and zip off rather than just rotating on his axis. And it's clear that this is one of the low-budget cutscenes too, and it still has a lot going on. After this, we also see a Lucario jump from the ground to the top of the building, which is another thing that definitely would have not been animated in past games. So maybe the bar is incredibly low, but I was pleasantly surprised at how animated the cutscenes actually were. Next, we get to the actual meat and potatoes of the demo though, a battle against the rogue Mega Absol using your own Mega Lucario. In this battle, we see truly just how important your trainer is to this new battle system, as every time your Pokemon hits a Mega Evolved Pokemon, they'll drop bits of Mega Evolution energy that your trainer has to run around and collect to build up your own Mega Evolution gauge. Yes, unlike X and Y, you cannot Mega Evolve at will, you actually have to work for it during the heat of the battle, and it's pretty awesome. It's also worth noting that like in Legends Arceus, your trainer has their own HP as well, as every time a wild Mega Evolution hits you, the edges of the screen darken and get blurry. So you'll have to manage both your trainer's HP and your Pokemon's HP at the same time, which can be pretty difficult. It makes this particular type of battle feel more like the noble battles from Legends Arceus. Also, the trainer's job doesn't stop after you've Mega Evolved, as you can still pick up more Mega Evolution energy to refill your gauge, which is constantly draining. So you can't just autopilot to victory after Mega Evolving like in the older games, and I very much enjoy that. You'll also see here that I was kinda getting my butt whipped by this Absol, so I asked the employees if I could use an item, and sure enough I was able to open the bag mid-fight to restore Lucario's HP with a potion. However, unlike Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom where you can consume as many healing items as you desire, this game automatically kicks you out of the bag as soon as you use a single healing item. Which I guess is the same way it works as in every other Pokemon game, but it's cool to see that carried over to a real-time battle system. I'm not sure if there's a cooldown timer to this, I regrettably did not check, but I think that would be pretty silly if you could just instantly reopen the bag to heal again. While on the status screen, I was able to confirm that held items and natures are in this game, which were both notably missing in Legends Arceus. However, abilities are once again gone, which is to be expected. I don't think many abilities would have translated to this battle system very well. I'm personally not bummed about it. I know they'll be back in Gen 10. It is what it is. Mega Kangaskhan's just gonna suck for this one game is all. And as expected, defeating a Mega Evolution does give you their Mega Stone, which is super exciting because that implies that we may get anywhere from 50 to 70 of these types of honestly pretty difficult boss fights depending on how many new Megas are introduced. This has the potential to be one of the hardest Pokemon games ever in Kalos of all regions, who would have thought, and I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, that about wraps up my Legends ZA experience. I was already really excited for this game, but after playing it firsthand, experiencing the difficulty of Mega Battles, and seeing the Battle Royale multiplayer mode at Worlds, I am more pumped than I have been for a Pokemon game in a long, long time. I think this one is genuinely going to be really special, and I'm not just saying that because they invited me. You know me, I keep it real. Anyway, I also wanted to thank everybody who came to my meet and greet at Worlds. It was super awesome to meet you all and hear your good morning everybody impressions. I genuinely loved it. I'm also going to have a live stream later this week where I'm answering any further questions you guys might have about ZA and the World's experience, so be sure to tune in for that. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.